Hi, I'm Coach Tim Bryan of Thumbs Up Running, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you'd like to get a hold of me, all the descriptions are in the box below, my email address, my website, and stuff like that. But today's topic is going to be cold weather running. It could be my thoughts on it, maybe some suggestions that you can do to make your cold weather run more enjoyable, or whether you should even do it or not. There's a lot of questions surrounding that. Now, where I'm from, in the North State here of Northern California, we don't get all that cold. You know, I mean, cold days typically is low 30s. Most of the time it's like the upper 30s, low 40s for the overnight low. So I really can't say we have a lot to complain about. But, you know, I have done up in the mountains, up like Weaverville and stuff like that, where higher elevation where it snows and have to go out and run in the snow and work out. So I am familiar quite a bit with cold weather running. Now, I think the first thing you need to do is just some planning. I wouldn't suggest like wearing cotton clothing. So when you do try to get a little warmed up when you're out running and you start to sweat a little bit, cotton tends to soak up the water, and you know it can freeze. It can keep people cold for a long time, and that may not be the best. I would suggest you use new technology clothing, you know, wicking stuff, running shirts, stuff like that would be my suggestion for wear. And the main thing is you need to do some planning. You got to understand that as you run, say 20, 25, 30 minutes, I would say you start to get warmed up probably somewhere between 7 to 8 to 10 minutes into the run. And you know, you warm up, and then what happens if you have too much clothing on for when you're cold but now you're warm? What are you going to do with that clothing? You've got a site that you've set aside beforehand where you're going to put the clothing. You're going to have to carry a bag around you. You're going to wrap it around your waist. What are you going to do with the clothing that you have? Another thing you got to worry about is when your muscles warm up and then you start sweating and you still may have a little moisture on there, and it's cold. The colder it gets, you're warmed up. That warmth only lasts for a little while. You're going to get to a point where that water is going to start freezing on you, and your core body temperature is actually going to start to drop again. So you're still going to need water when you're out running because you're sweating, and then you know you're not replenishing that, or you're going to get dehydrated as well as hypothermia setting in. So that's why I suggest no more than 20 to 30 minutes on a longer run when it's cold. Unless if you're training for a marathon, you know, just pick the warmest day you can get, I guess, the warmest time of the day. Get out for your longer runs, bundle up, do what you got to do, but be safe. What I mean by be safe is that don't plan your run out on a big route out into the woods, a big route out someplace that's way away from anywhere where you've got somebody that can come pick you up, where you don't have communications, your phone doesn't need cell phone coverage out there. You know, have designated spots where you meet somebody, or you know, plan this. You don't want to get caught on an out and back 5 miles out into up a draw or a canyon or someplace like that where there's not good cell coverage, and all of a sudden you slip on some ice, or your muscles start to cramp up, or you get cold, hypothermia sets in, and you're miles away from any help. You know, let's be smart about this. Have a plan. Have an escape plan. You know, who are you going to call? Where are you going to be at? Know where you're at. You understand when hypothermia starts setting in, you start to slow down, and your thinking gets very muddled. So, don't let yourself get to that point to begin with. Again, have a plan where you're at. Make sure if you have to run shorter laps around something, make sure that you stay in a safe area. You know, it might be just that's what you have to do. You know, you don't want to put yourself out into unsafe areas where when things go bad, there's no help there. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, things that you've got to concentrate on and worry about is keeping them warm out there. You could wear a sweatshirt like this, you know, you got the hood up here, and that can keep stuff in here. But again, problem with these is with cotton and stuff like that, it tends to soak up, they get heavy. You know, if it starts to rain, it really soaks up the rain, and you know, then you got a lot of weight on you as well as everything else. That's why I prefer, you know, the running shirts that can whip the moisture away from the body. So, you got to keep that in mind. Another thing that you need to maybe invest in is a hat. You know, it's a running hat. You'd be surprised at how much body heat actually goes out through your head. It's more than you think. And a good hat will kind of keep that trapped in there and keep your head, keep yourself warm. You know, some of them even have to have flaps that come down there to kind of keep your ears warm. You can look for those too, which is good. I would suggest layering, which means like having a long-sleeved wicking shirt over your short sleeve, so if it does start to warm up, you can just take that off, have a designated spot where you can put that down, especially if you're running laps, or tie it around your waist. You know, it's the quickest thing to do. The other thing to do, and here I'll show you, take off my sweatshirt here, look at my belly, get fat. This is what it is, I guess. They make these things, they're called sleeves. That's just it. See that? That's a sleeve. You put it on each one, and that way if it's not terribly cold out there, or you don't need to have, you know, even when you start, maybe 2 shirts is too much, you get the benefit of a long sleeve, and then when you start, and I got 2 of them. So whenever you get warmed up out there, you know, you run a longer run maybe, and it starts to warm up into the 40 degrees or something that starts to feel a little warm, you can just take your sleeves off at that point and we'll be down to, you know, just your short sleeve shirt. So it kind of gives you options out there. I don't particularly like these all that much myself, only because these tend to be very constrictive and tight on the arms, and I don't like that tightness feel of them. I'd rather have a looser feel of a long sleeve shirt. But that's just my personal preference. Not everybody, you know, feels that way. I understand that. Another thing you need to do is I would suggest that you have gloves. Now, you know, you've got gloves. They've got so many things out nowadays. Let me get them on here, right? As you can see, some of these have these tips now. And so you can wear these on there and you can touch, and they're designed to be able to use your phone on the touch screens for that. And they can, so you've got that option right there. Most of them have magnetic or clips, so that if you get hot and you got to take them off, then you can clip them together so you don't lose the pair. You can throw them with your shirt on where you're at, or you can put them in the pocket, or you can do something for that. But it's important to keep your fingers warm when you're running. And the reason is that obviously you don't get frostbite. And this things you can get those little hand warmer things, you know, foot warmers, hand warmers, that will keep it there. But you need to keep your fingers warm, because when they get cold, besides the risk of frostbite, that you tend to grip and you tight. And whenever you grip here, you tend to tighten all the way up into the shoulders, so you're going to tighten all the way to the back of the neck. It's going to give you headaches. This is going to give you tension through there, which isn't good. And when you grip right here, you tend to grip with your toes at the same time. And when you run that way, you're gripping for a while, that's probably the biggest thing that leads to lower leg cramping, is gripping of your toes. Trust me, when you're on a cold night and you're in bed and you start gripping your toes because you got it curling up, I guarantee most of the time you're going to get leg cramps from that. So if you can keep your fingers warm and keep them relaxed, it's going to keep your toes kind of relaxed too at the same time, and it's going to stave off, maybe even prevent you from having any sort of a lower leg cramping that might come from that. So again, if you're going to be, you have to do some cold weather running. You're training for a marathon, half marathon, you're training for something, or you just want to stay in shape, be smart. Make sure you have your route planned out. Make sure that people know what your route is. That you have your phone with you some way to make contact, or somebody can check up on you at a regular interval to keep track on you. Make sure that you stay warm, keep your fingers warm. Make sure that you've got good shoes. They're not slick, because if you hit a patch of ice, you never know when that black ice can be out there. There's always a danger of slipping and maybe going down. So make sure that your shoes are in good repair and have good grip on the bottom of them as well. So if you can remember that, I think you're going to be probably fairly successful in your cold weather running. Again, I'm Tim Bryan of Thumbs Up Running. If you'd like to contact me, look in the description box below. And have a good day. Thank you.